birds peeping in their nests. And often we read about or see on YouTube a mother of one species of animal offering herself to feed the baby of another species. They just instinctively trust one another. Trust, trust, trust. Trust comes in all colors and sizes. Trust your instincts. Who's got your back? Trust your gut feelings. We're trusting our selection committee to bring to us the best qualified fit for this congregation to become our new minister. We trust one another as partners, not to cheat, to bring your paycheck home, to build a life together. You trust your teenage children to do the right thing. You trust your minister to lead, to counsel, to have a poignant message. The minister that married me was cheating on his wife. He eventually left his wife and he left the ministry. They say, trust your attorney. No offense, Jim. How many times have you seen or heard about ambulance chasers or attorneys scamming insurance companies or scamming the elderly? Trust your financial advisors. Two words come to mind: Bernie Madoff. Trust your neighbors to return what they borrow and not to feud like the Hatfield and McCoys. Trust your auto mechanic to use new parts instead of used. And there is, well, look at your money. In God we trust. And of course, we must all trust our legislators. Has trust become a joke? No, trust is serious. We have the buddy system in swimming. If one of you becomes in danger, you're trusting that your buddy will save you from peril. We have designated drivers. If for some reason you and a number of your friends decide to get hammered on a Saturday night, you're trusting that that one driver will not imbibe and that he will deliver all of you safely home. Years ago, every town had a bank called such and such a trust company, and we have trust funds. And of course there is, trust me, cross my heart, I hope to die. Or, it's what I said is true, I swear on my mother's grave. And I never did really understand that one. I've been to 2 police dog graduations, and all they talk about is trust your dog. Naturally, the blind have to trust their dog. Lion tamers have to trust their instincts. The great Walenda has to trust his balancing skills. Even children have to trust the tooth fairy, that they will leave them some money under their pillow when they lose a tooth. And I'm sure most of you have seen on TV or YouTube the guy, he tied a string around his daughter's tooth and then threw the javelin to take the tooth out. Talk about extreme dentistry. I hope the tooth fairy was very generous to her. As Bud said earlier, our covenant of right relation says to build trust in one another by behaving with integrity in our relationships, by being accountable for our actions and reactions, and by respecting confidences. Let's start with building integrity in our relationships. We have all heard the old adage, honesty is the best policy. Well, honesty is the best policy. I walk almost every day through Egg Harbor City, where I'm in my 12th year as a councilman. Naturally, I get stopped by many residents that want to talk about the roads, taxes, trash, or sometimes they ask me a question that I don't have an answer for. And I tell them that I'll research their concern and I'll get them the right answer within a day or two. But I leave them with this. The answer I give you might not be the answer you want, but I'll get you the right answer. As a public servant, that's what I am supposed to do. Give them an honest answer and not worry that they might not like the answer and decide that they're not going to vote for me if I run for re-election. This is how it should be in all of our relationships, whether it be husband-wife, parent-child, minister-congregant, or neighbor to neighbor. If you want to build your trust, or some call it your credibility, you have to be honest in your words, deeds, and actions towards one another. Integrity is something that you cannot buy, no matter how much money or opulence you may have. Integrity, or trust, encompasses fidelity, justice, virtue, and worth in others. It is undivided or unbroken completeness. Building trust in one another by behaving with integrity in our relationships certainly extends to many of our 7 principles. Being accountable for our actions and reactions. And this is something I wish I wrote before a couple of weeks ago, and maybe something wouldn't have happened. Colby, I didn't maybe understand your actions, but my reactions were not warranted either, and I do apologize for them. And if I had written this beforehand, I would realize that. Being accountable for our actions and reactions. Science has determined that for every action, there is a reaction. This is also true in human relationships. A baseball player hits a game-winning home run. His team cheers and hoots and hollers. The opposition says, "Oh no," and gets sad. A loved one dies. We feel sad and cry. A child gets married. We feel happy and cry. Birds flock to a feeder, and we feel the satisfaction of helping them survive the bitter, cold winter months. We get a promotion at work, and we throw a party. Hopefully, our reactions are a positive affirmation to whom we have heard in action, and not a negative response, like, "Why did you do that?" Or, "You are entirely wrong on that question." Stifled anger never goes away. It lingers in the background, ready to show up to your next angry moment. Work through old anger, and life will be less painful. In times of peril and distress, our action should be comfort, consolation, and encouragement. We are all the ones accountable for our words, deeds, and actions. It is up to us to think what kind of reaction would we want if the situation was reversed and we were the ones with the action. Remember, half a reaction is like no reaction at all. And many of our 7 principles adhere to being accountable for our actions and reactions. Respecting confidences. We have all seen those shows with nosy neighbors, or maybe we have a nosy neighbor living next to us right now. A confidence is just that. It is information shared by an individual to you either because they need to get something off their chest or just because they are seeking your advice on what should I do about this. It is a conversation that is trusted to you and only you. Be honest in your reaction to the subject, but don't go blabbing the story to others. The information is meant only for your ears. Imagine how you would feel if a friend betrayed your trust and told your issues to others, None of us would be very happy about that. 25 years ago, a couple that I was best friends with split up. Both the husband and the wife came to my home separately many times and told their versions of what happened in their marriage. My wife and I listened to both of them, but we never mentioned anything to the other spouse. We listened, we consoled, we comforted, but we always respected the confidence that was expected from us. We never judged or gave an opinion on who was right or who was wrong. They both just needed a friend to listen to them. Respecting a confidence also has root in many of our 7 principles. And incidentally, both of my friends remarried, and I vacationed with both of them and their other spouse. So we kind of kept friendships going. I have long been an admirer of Native Americans and their many cultures. When the colonists first landed, they taught them how to plant, how to fish, how to survive the cold winters. They treated them like friends. The Iroquois Confederacy of 6 nations was founded after Peacemaker visited the warring nations of Mohawks, Oneidas, Onondagas, Senecas, and Cayugas. These nations came together after trusting each other to work together peacefully, rather than continuing to battle one another. They gathered around one council fire, their thoughts and words intermingled. As in their council fire, many flames became one fire, and it sent its warmth to many. They united their minds into one mind for the good of all. In closing, I would like to read the 10 Indian commandments. You know, the Indians must have been Uyus, because each commandment, except one that I couldn't really figure out why, concerns one of our 7 principles and one of the points of our covenant of right relations. Number 1, treat the earth and all that dwell therein with respect. Principle 7, covenant point, respect. Remain close to the Great Spirit. Principle 3, covenant point, support. Number 3, show great respect for your fellow beings. Principle 1, covenant point, respect. Number 4, work together for the benefit of mankind. Principle 2, covenant point, communication. Number 5, give assistance and kindness wherever needed. Principle 6, covenant point, support. Number 6, do what you know to be right. Principle 5, covenant point, hospitality. Now here comes the one, I don't know where this came from. Look after the well-being of mind and body. Number 8, dedicate a share of your efforts to the greater good. Principle 4, covenant point, responsibility. 9, be truthful and honest at all time. Principle 4, covenant point, trust. Number 10, take full responsibility for your actions. Principle 2, covenant point, responsibility. I just have to say and to ask, in whom do you put your trust? Thank you.